Hey there! How can you easily get noticed and win more of the right clients? And how can you do that without complex marketing, constantly creating content, or lowering your prices? If you're working hard, putting yourself out there and trying so many different marketing strategies, but still not getting enough of the right clients to say yes to you, then you could be making one of the top 3 mistakes most women make when it comes to having more of your ideal clients on demand. On the 3rd of June, Michelle and I are hosting a free workshop to help you create a steady flow of ideal customers that grow your business. You can register for free now at ideal-workshop.com. That's ideal-workshop.com. Hi, you're listening to the Content Sells podcast, the show all about how to create content to attract, convert, and keep your ideal clients. Welcome to episode 263. I'm Susie Daphnis, and here with me is my co-host, Michelle Falzon. Hey, Michelle, how are you?
Hey, Susie. I feel like when I get an intro like that, I have to reciprocate. Hey, Susie. I'm very well, thank you, though, for asking. And I'm keen. I'm keen as mustard today because I am looking forward to diving into our topic that we've kind of chosen for today, because we're shining a light on something that's often overlooked, but it can actually be one of the fastest way to grow your reach and build your list and your business without needing a big budget. And that is small-scale, grassroots-style strategic alliances.
Yes, that is our topic for today. And this is a strategy for you if you've ever thought, oh, I don't have a big email list, I don't have the budget to pay for a whole lot of ads to generate leads, or I don't have a lot of tech expertise or tracking in place to set up fancy affiliate deals or joint ventures, blah, blah, blah. Because today we're talking about what we're calling mini but mighty alliances, like small creative partnerships that don't require you to have a whole lot of tech or a ton of resources, but that, as Michelle said, can still move the needle in a big way for your business.
Yeah, and we've seen this work over and over with our masterminders, with her business members connecting with each other, with our clients, and obviously in our own businesses. In fact, just this morning I was recommending to one of our masterminders a great alliance partner for an upcoming promotion that she's working on, and I can just see it like I'm so excited. I hope that they pursue that because it's a way to tap into each other's communities and networks and expand in a way that's so accelerated beyond the hard work that it can often take just chipping away at growing our own list or getting known on social media one post at a time. You can really accelerate how fast and how many people know about you and know about your offer. But before we dive into some of the most effective, small but powerful ways you can partner with others, let's just take a moment to define what we mean when we say strategic alliance, because we don't want to assume that you know what we mean by that. So it can sound a bit formal even, or a bit corporate, strategic alliance. But in reality, it's something every business can do. At its heart, a strategic alliance is simply an agreement between 2 or more businesses to collaborate in a way that helps you all grow while still remaining independent. So it's not a merger, it's not a legal partnership, any of those things. It's more like, hey, we've got aligned values, we serve similar people, and we can create something better or reach more people by working together on something in a particular way. And we're going to dig into all the different ways you might be able to do that. So we're talking about the mini but mighty version of that, where these alliances don't need to involve big teams or complicated contracts. They can be as simple as, you email your list, I'll email mine, or, hey, let's include your coupon in my next shipment out, or, hey, you interview me on your podcast and I'll introduce you to my audience next week. These are really can still be very powerful ways to align with others. And the goal is that both businesses win. And ideally, your audience wins too, because they're getting more value from trusted sources that make sense, right? That makes, it makes sense that this person's talking to me and introducing this other person to me. So one example that comes to mind straight away is our masterminder, Chantel from Blue Gum Electrical. And one great example of a mini but mighty strategic alliance is what she did to create a low-tech partnership with a local beacon lighting store.
Yeah, I love this one. It's such a win-win.
Yeah.
Now, Blue Gum, as you can guess by the name, they provide electrical, but also solar services. And so they became the preferred electrician for a business called Beacon Lighting, which is in their area. They're in the Macedon Ranges in Victoria. And they were recommending a Blue Gum to their clients. So when someone came in to buy lighting, they were also handed a referral for someone who could install those lights and do other electrical work that might be needed. And that instantly positioned Blue Gum at the top of the list of go-to electricians in the area. But it worked both ways. Beacon Lighting also gave Blue Gum a 5% discount card that they could then pass on to their clients who might be getting electrical work done on, say, a new home or renovating a kitchen or whatever, and might need or want some new lights. So when Chantel was doing an installation or an upgrade, she could say, oh, if you need new lighting, here's a discount from our friends at Beacon. They've got a great range. And this made her look generous and very well connected, and it drove new business right back to Beacon. I love this example.
Isn't it great? And it's like there's no tech, there's no fancy software. It's just one really smart connection that Chantel made. Two businesses with the same ideal client in the same local area, creating a thoughtful way to help each other grow and to expand each of their client bases. And that's the essence, the real essence, the heart of what we mean by a mini but mighty strategic alliance. And in this episode, we're going to explore 5 different ways to create these mini but mighty alliances that you can use or that you can think about using, or maybe there's one that really sparks an idea for you. And whether you're service-based, product-based, you run a digital business, you have a physical brick and mortar store, these strategies can apply to you. And the best part is these ideas are often faster to implement than the big complex partnerships we sometimes think we need.
Yeah, absolutely. And so whether you're just getting started or if you're looking for something easy like low-hanging fruit, as the saying goes, to add to your marketing mix, you are going to walk away from this episode with at least one strategy that we hope that you can try out to start getting new leads and clients coming your way. Now, before we jump into the strategies, I want to acknowledge something that's really important, and that's the mindset we often bring to the idea of alliances. Because, and I know this is true for me, the truth is that even when we know collaboration makes sense, many of us still hesitate to ask. We worry about being a burden. We tell ourselves we have to wait until our email list is bigger, our brand is more polished, or we have something more impressive to offer the other party. And that hesitation can really hold us back. And I want to say right up front, you don't have to be further along than where you are right now to be worthy of a strategic alliance, of a partnership. So alliances aren't about ego or asking anyone for favors. They're about creating mutual value. And what I've seen over and over is that when you reach out from a place of genuine connection and a clear understanding of who you serve and how you help, people are often excited to find ways to work together. Now, most of us are looking for meaningful ways to expand our reach without burning out or constantly relying on bloomin' paid ads. And strategic alliances, even the small ones, the mini but mighty, the simple kind that we're talking about today, can be a beautiful aligned way to do that. So if you've ever held back from approaching someone from doing a collaboration, today's episode is really an invitation to work on and shift that mindset. So think of this as a toolbox of ideas that you can confidently use and experiment. So no matter what your email list size, your website traffic, your business stage, your budget, it doesn't need to be perfect. You just need to be clear, thoughtful, ready to create something that is a win-win opportunity for you and a partner. Because great strategic alliances start with a simple ask and a willingness to show up as you are and just to explore what's possible.
That is just such good advice. I'm so glad we're starting with that pre-frame around the mindset and the attitude and all those nerves that you just tapped, right? That we might be feeling, well, I can't ask them, or I'm selfish, or I'm, who do I think I am?
Who am
or,
I?
Yes. Or even I don't want to share my people with them, or, like all the stuff that comes up, And so I love that you spoke to that. And one other important pre-frame as we kind of get you ready to discover the 5 mini but mighty alliance models we want to share with you There's one other important pre-frame that I want to introduce and encourage you to have top of mind when you're thinking about partnerships. In addition to all the great advice Susie's given you about paying attention to your mindset and really working on that and building that muscle, you want to be thinking about this concept. And it's something I call the peaches and cream principle. And you can use this principle to easily know when a partnership is going to feel easy, aligned, and actually deliver results, because we're talking about a strategic partnership, right? A strategic alliance, which needs to deliver results, right? So you can use the peaches and cream principle to determine, is this the right kind of combination, me and this possible alliance partner? Or is this actually a distraction and a drain and not the right combination, not the right collaboration? So what do we mean by peaches and cream? Well, have you ever had peaches and cream? Have you ever eaten? I remember, Susie, when I was a kid, peaches and cream or peaches and creamed rice was almost
rice.
Yeah, was like the dessert du jour. That was what we had, a tin peaches.
Okay, I'm with you now. Right, tin peaches.
Yeah,
that is different. Yeah. Yes, tin peaches. We used to eat
yes,
tin
and then
pears.
with the
oh my God.
yes. I mean, I could go it right now, and all that sugary syrup. My mum would open a tin of peaches.
Because sometimes peaches are tart, but the canned peaches, as bad as they might be for your waistline, delicious.
Just pure sugar. But, I have such fond memories of peaches and cream, and peaches are great on their own and cream is great on its own. But when you put them together, they elevate each other. They're even more delicious when they're combined versus on their own. And are we seeing the metaphor here that you might be peaches and the other company might be cream? You're both great on your own, but put you together, deliciousness. And so just like with great food combos, there are business combos that can also create some amazing magic when you combine forces.
Yeah, and that's exactly what a good strategic alliance should feel like. You and your partner are stronger together than you are separately. Not because you're doing the same thing, but because what you offer complements each other.
Such an important word there, complements. And we'll dig into that a little bit more as you think about what makes a good alliance, right? Like, here's how you know you've got a peaches and cream match. There are 3 key things right out of the gate that you want to look for. And the first is, this is so critical, Susie, that you share the same ideal client, but you solve different problems. And here's a reason why this is the first one, because we've put this right at the top, because this is the big one. This is the one you want to get right.
Yeah, it definitely is. If you both serve the same audience, but in different, yet there's the word again, complementary ways, that is a great sign. You're not competing, you're not overlapping, you're simply helping the same client succeed, but from different angles. So let's say you're a financial coach and you work with women over 45 who are getting serious about retirement planning. You might partner with someone who specializes in holistic health for women in midlife. Same audience, different focus. And that reminds me of something we saw happen inside of Her Business community. 2 members, Angela Council, a naturopath who works with women going through menopause, and Corinne Vandervork, who is a mindfulness and meditation coach. They found that they were both helping women 45 plus, but from different angles. One, Angela, supported hormonal balance, while the other one helped with stress and emotional regulation. So same woman client, 2 different but highly complementary services, and a perfect peaches and cream kind of fit. And Angela is actually great at collaborating. She's been able to put strategic alliances together with a number of our members, like Fiona Keary of Style Liberation, who helps women of that same age group to put together wardrobes of clothes that they absolutely love. And that's just one example.
Yeah, right. Same ideal client, but solving a different problem. But like you said, Susie, it kind of makes sense that you'd introduce them to your world. Like, if you're helping women with menopause like Angela does, let me just make the mental leap for you. Why Fiona would be such a great partner is because Fiona's audience is also for women who are, in that same age group, who are wanting to find new clothes, maybe the old clothes the old style, they've changed, it's not really expressing them anymore, and they're a bit lost as to what their style is, that can often coincide with something like menopause. Weight changes can happen. All of these factors can influence you. If you're looking at solving your fashion problem with Fiona, then the menopause solution that Angela offers might feel like, oh yes, that's exactly what I need so I can fit back into some of the clothes I love. Mm-hmm. And in reverse, if you are Angela solving the menopause problem, a tangential problem is I need to re-identify the clothes that I wear because I have put on some weight, or right. I've changed. My mental attitude about life is different, and I don't want to wear those clothes I used to wear. I feel like a new person, and I want to re-identify myself with my fashion. So introducing Fiona to Angela's community feels like a really good value add. So the important thing here is to understand your ideal customer, because remember, that's the key. You've got the same ideal client. Remember, you don't want to be too broad about who your ideal client is, and you need to understand your potential strategic alliances customer. Who are they serving, and is it a match? Is there this simpatico that we saw in some of those examples that Susie shared, which are just awesome? And honestly, the Her Business community is so amazing. Those sorts of combinations are happening all the time in there. Peaches and cream left and right. And, if it's not a match, if that alliance partner, they actually work with, women who are in their 20s, and you're trying to work with women who are in their 50s, then you can sort of say, oh, okay, well, I understand. That's awesome. We probably don't have a match here. So you do then want to go and find someone. Maybe it sparks an idea in that space, that fashion space, to go and find someone who has your ideal customer if the first person you spoke to wasn't quite a match.
Yeah. And I just want to say on that, it's like, the first attempt may not get you a yes, or they may not be the perfect match, but there are limitless almost, options out there for you. So the second way to tell that you have a peaches and cream match with a potential strategic alliance is that your values are aligned. This is point number 2. Now, this goes deeper than your branding or your tone of voice. It's about your shared principles. How do you treat your customers? What do you stand for? What's your approach to business? Because even if the audience is right, if your values are out of sync, that partnership can really backfire. Now, we've had people approach us with huge email lists, huge visibility, but their messaging felt aggressive, or their offers relied on fear, or their customer service or standards didn't match our standards. So that's not just a style issue, it's a trust issue. Our values were not aligned as much as maybe on the outside it looked like we had the similar customers.
Yeah, and it's so important to do that digging, to talk to people and really understand that, maybe even become a customer of theirs or sign up for their email list and check them out that way, because it's such an important point you're making, Susie. Like, if you were to introduce a person or a business to your audience, which is often how these strategic alliances work, there's a degree of saying, we vouch for this. Like when Angela introduces Fiona to her community, now Angela's not saying, I guarantee you're going to get the result or anything like that, but there's a sort of implied sense that, well, if Angela thinks Fiona's great, I trust Angela. So there's sort of this refracted light shone on Fiona. It's like, well, then Fiona must be good too. And so you never want to introduce people to your community that you don't feel aligned with, that you don't feel good about how they're going to treat that person when they become a customer of them. So, if your clients' experiences don't live up to what they had hoped for or expected, it can actually damage the trust with you, the trust that you've been spent years building. And so, the great thing is Angela, Fiona, Karen, Corinne, they have high trust with each other because they're inside the business network. They know each other. They understand each other's businesses. But you want to find people that you align with as well, because the damage, the kickback to you is just not worth just throwing anybody into the mix there. Your audience sees you as a filter. And when you collaborate, they're not just evaluating your credibility anymore. They're evaluating who you align yourself with. So when you're thinking about potential partners, ask, Do we both put the customer first? Are we both generous in how we show up? Are they using phrases and ideas and language that I feel comfortable with or uncomfortable with? Do we believe in similar ways of doing business? Maybe it's about, like, maybe you're all about empowerment and integrity and ethics and community, or whatever key values you hold. Do they resonate with that too?
Because if not, no matter how many followers they have, how big their email list, how many visitors to their website, how big their reach, you're always going to be compromising something, and it's just not worth it. It's never worth it. That is not what we mean by peaches and cream. That's more like peaches and pickles. Lovely individually, but not together. So kind of weird, right? We don't want that in our dessert. So let's have a look at now the third way that you can tell if you have a peaches and cream match with a possible strategic alliance. And that is number 3, the partnership makes sense to the customer. This is the final test. It might feel good to you, but would it make sense to your customer? If you're a business coach and suddenly you're promoting, say, a luxury travel service, it might feel like a stretch unless you've got a really clear through line that connects those two things in your customer's mind.
Oh, I love this one so much. This is where you can get really creative. Alliances that you might rule out to begin with actually can turn out to be some of the best. Like, some unlikely partners can still be peaches and cream. So in that example you've just said, Susie, it's not to say that can't work, right? I'm a business coach and suddenly I'm promoting a luxury travel service. Say what, right? But what is the context? It needs to make sense for your customer to see you sharing information with them about your strategic alliance. Like, why would that business coach be sharing about this luxury travel service? But perhaps that makes total sense. For example, a way that could work in that scenario, let's say the type of business coaching you do is all about stepping outside comfort zones. And maybe you already use a lot of travel metaphors to illustrate maybe your coaching frameworks and your processes. And let's say you meet a fantastic travel service specifically focused on helping business owners have bespoke travel adventures. Now, there might be a way to share that story with your audience in a way that feels cohesive and like it gels. And maybe it doesn't gel. Maybe that's not the case. But even an unlikely duo like that can work.
Right.
If there's enough context for your audience member. And, of course, then there are the no-brainer matches where you don't have to do very much thinking at all to see that this is going to work. Like, for example, you're a stylist and you partner with a personal brand photographer. Like, that makes total sense. I'm going to help you dress and look fantastic. And Kathy here is going to take photos of you looking great. And we're going to put this package together and we're going to promote it to each of our respective audiences. Or a naturopath teaming up with a mindfulness coach. Same thing, right? Really no-brainer, peaches and cream.
Absolutely. And so as we go now through these 5 alliance models, we want you to be thinking, who is a peaches and cream match for me? Not just who do I know, but who shares my ideal client, matches my values, and would make sense to my customer from their point of view that we would be partnering with that organization or that person. Because when you find that person, even the smallest, simplest collaboration can be mighty. That is the power of peaches and cream.
Okay, so let's look at one of the simplest and most powerful approaches to creating a small but mighty alliance, and that's a local co-promotion. And this is where 2 businesses in the same local area join forces to get more visibility and reach, and often without having to spend a cent on advertising. And, if you're a local area business right now, maybe you are spending a lot on, billboards and sponsoring sports teams and, ads in the local paper and flyers and all the letterboxes and things like that, which are all great. But imagine being able to add a whole other stream of leads that doesn't have to cost you money. And we've already mentioned the fantastic example from Chantel at Blue Gum Electrical, who partnered with her local Beacon lighting store. And local alliances are about visibility at the moment of decision. What do we mean by that? Well, when someone is physically in a space, already thinking about a purchase, seeing your brand position next to a trusted partner creates instant relevance. So if I'm in Beacon Lighting and I'm making the decision to buy a light and they recommend Chantel's Blue Gum Electrical to me, That's my moment of decision. I'm deciding about the light. And by the way, if you want help installing that light, here's a great local electrician. Do you see how that moment is the ideal moment to kind of be sharing each other's services or products? So this works best when your audiences overlap geographically, obviously, and also demographically. So it's not just everybody in this area, but like they might be attracting, people with a certain demographic that's different to yours, whether it's age or lifestyle or income bracket or whatever it is. So it works best when your audiences overlap geographically and demographically. There's a logical flow between the offers, like someone buying a light might need an electrician. And you each have a physical or face-to-face component in your delivery. It doesn't mean you have to have a brick and mortar store, but there's some local moment of decision or delivery. So it's not about mass exposure. It's about being in the right place at the right time. Every time somebody buys a light, one by one, you get those juicy referrals. And you could get way more buyers. This is why they're mighty, right? You could get way more buyers from just a few leads from this kind of strategic alliance versus spending on Facebook ads to get tons of leads that don't progress into buyers.
I love that point. And I want to give some hypothetical examples of what this could look like for you. So, for example, a personal trainer adding flyers at the counter of a nearby health food store could totally be playing into this idea. They could also offer to share a flyer or a special promotion for the health food store with their personal training clients. Or a celebrant teaming up with a florist and a photographer to recommend each other's services and make it easy for the couple getting married to book people who are used to working together. Or a beauty therapist, that's a different partnership.
We probably all need one of those.
Yes. A beauty therapist and a local hairdresser, each leaving thank you gift cards at their respective salons. Or again, see how these are very peaches and cream? Or a naturopath placing a framed client special in a local organic cafe, offering a discount on their first consultation. In exchange, the cafe is featured in the naturopath's monthly newsletter and gets referrals from health-conscious clients. Now, I want to give you an example from the Her Business community, and that is Rachel Chan, a horticulturalist who specialises in garden presentation for display homes and commercial properties. Now, she posted inside the Her Business community about wanting to partner with real estate agents and property developers. See the peaches and cream? It's a great example of a local service pairing up with a complementary provider to be in the right place at the right time. So she's not just growing plants, she's growing perceived value in those properties. So simple, so effective, and this kind of alliance is perfect if you serve a local market. And it doesn't have to be complicated. A quick conversation, shared flyer might be all it takes to instantly turn the tap on for new leads and customers. And I love this one. So that is the first of our 5 mini but mighty strategic alliance models. So now let's look at a second way that you could structure a simple but effective strategic alliance. And that is bonus swaps in courses or lead magnets. What do I mean? Bonus swaps are where you and a strategic alliance partner each contribute something valuable to the other's paid course, service, or product, like a template, a short training, a downloadable tool that complements the core promise of what's been purchased. And this is a way to deepen the value of your program or service while giving a trusted partner meaningful exposure without sending your clients off platform, like away from you or interrupting your sales journey. And it's a simple way to add value. Introduce your partner to warm leads who are proven buyers because they've already bought your thing, and to receive the same in return without needing a big launch or promotion or campaign. Now, when does this work? This works best when your offers are complementary but not competitive. And we'll give you some examples in a minute. So you want to make sure the content doesn't distract customers away from you and the process that you are taking them through. That you both have digital products or services that would lend themselves as add-ons, because digital products and information are so much easier to scale and they don't require your time to deliver them. And of course, all the other peaches and cream characteristics that we've already mentioned. So for example, a business coach might include a mindset guide from a confidence coach in her Get Clients Fast online course, complementary. Or a digital course creator adds a bonus from a tech virtual assistant on how to set up your course platforms. Another example is a parenting coach who includes a meal planning for busy mums bonus from a nutritionist. So imagine after someone opts in for your 5-day Overwhelm Detox coaching program, they're offered a free resource, a downloadable morning ritual guide from a strategic partner who specializes in mindfulness. Super simple, highly scalable partnerships.
Yeah, and it just takes a little bit of creativity, a little
Yeah.
bit of thinking, a little bit of elbow grease, and you can be unlocking many of these strategies in your business. So let's talk now about a super old school, because these strategies have been around forever. I've loved doing these for years, and Susie, I know you have as well. Let's talk about a super old school but still super effective alliance model that can be easy to put together but still have a mighty impact, and that's coupon in the box or physical inserts. And this is for you if you sell physical products and you're shipping something out to your customers, or you sell a service but you do ship like a bonus box or a T-shirt or something to people, right? You send something to your customers in the post or via a courier. Why not include a flyer, a discount card, a special offer from another local or aligned business? Now, you might go to somebody and say, hey, I've got this opportunity. Does this work for you? And I'd love it if we could reciprocate. What about I've got this special offer I can put in your box that you're sending out? So this is a tactile alliance. You're literally putting someone else's offer into your customer's hands at a moment of positive brand experience. Like, people love it when they receive their order or they get their bonus box of goodies from you when they bought your program or whatever. So whether that's a one-off purchase or if you sell a subscription delivery, you're delivering something every month to people in a box of some kind. It works well when you ship products or give printed materials as part of your service. So even if you have a service and you give something physical to your audience at the time of delivery or partway through the product delivery. It also works well if your partner is in a related industry. Again, we're just reminding you, not the same competitor, but doing something that is complementary and has the same ideal client. And you're looking to surprise and delight, not just push offers. You're looking to really not just sort of, sometimes I get things delivered, Susie, and they've thrown 15 different flyers in there and I just go, oh, that's just trash, straight to the bin with those. But you're actually wanting to do something that's kind of cool and that a person's going to appreciate when they receive it. The secret here is not volume, it's relevance and timing. For example, let's say you sell candles. You could include a $10 off your first massage card from a local wellness clinic. You see the peaches and cream there? I've bought a candle. I'm someone who might like to light that candle and relax, and the massage seems like a great add-on to this box, this candle I've received, and I get $10 off. So they're going to look at you in a positive way and the masseuse. Or a gift company could include a sample or mini voucher for a boutique wine label or a chocolate brand. Or a nappy subscription box company could include a flyer from a postnatal yoga teacher offering a free trial class, reaching this highly targeted pre-qualified audience.
So good. And there's an example that I want to share, which is from her business, and that is the beautiful Nita McLaughlin, a longtime member, and she has a business called Sequence and Sand. And she was looking for strategic alliances with complementary product businesses for her photo shoot. And there were things like sunscreen, fake tan, accessory brands, and that kind of alliance could also work as a physical insert. So imagine a summer tote bag shipping with a coupon from Anita's swimwear line and a free sample from a beauty product partner. Now, this kind of low-cost, high-impact insert strategy builds loyalty and cross-promotes with ease. So this is a business that Anita used to have. Another friend of ours, Michelle, used to have a dog tag business. And with every time she sent out the dog tag in the envelope, there would be a voucher, and she got like pet insurance companies, pet accessory companies to swap with her, to promote her tags in exchange for their flyers going out with her tags. So cool.
And, massively grew her business as a result.
Absolutely.
The key here, we've been saying it, but we're going to say it again, is alignment. You want that insert to feel like a helpful bonus, not a random act. This is something that felt considered. And again, both businesses benefit. One gets new exposure, the other gets to add perceived value to what they're offering. And like we were saying before, you can negotiate a reciprocal deal. So that yoga studio owner that we mentioned, if I'm a nappy subscription box company and I put the flyer from the postnatal yoga teacher into my box, then the yoga teacher can be putting a special nappy subscription offer in her studio where the parents are coming in for postnatal support and yoga. You see, it's the same audience, very tangential, very related kind of offers that you're sharing. And, sorry, did you have something to say?
Sorry, no, go ahead.
And, these inserts, if that's what you're doing, they don't have to be fancy. You can print them at home. You can even start with a simple postcard or a code printed on a thank you slip. Canva's doing great things now. Your local printer shop can do it for you. You can just print them off on just A4 paper. Like, you start where you can.
Absolutely. And, we're talking about mini but mighty and simple. We don't want you to be overthinking it. So the next one is something that we've done many times ourselves, and that's the good old email swap. And it's exactly as it sounds. You send an email to your email list promoting someone else's freebie, offer, event, and they do the same for you. So it's quick, it's relatively free, and when it's done well, it can be incredibly high converting. This is a way to build your email list. Powerhouse when done well. Now, email swaps leverage the trust that you've built with your email list to make a curated introduction to someone else's valuable offer and vice versa. And it works because it's permission-based marketing. Right? You have the permission to email them and you already have trust with them. And it works best when your email lists are active and engaged, and you can each send to an equivalent number of people. So that's really important. So even if someone has a bigger email list than you, it's still possible because they can just segment the list and just send to an audience that matches your send numbers. And we've seen people do this as one-off swaps or as part of a themed campaign. And there's an important distinction that I want to make here, and it's this. Sometimes people are going to want to include you in their newsletter or offer you an ad in the newsletter or a spot in their newsletter. But here's the thing, we rarely see that sort of swap gain any traction. And that's because there's too much competing information in a newsletter. The whole point of a newsletter is to deliver news. So there's often a lot of links. So in most cases, you won't see a lot of traffic to your offer or your opt-in from that type of reciprocal email send. What really works is a dedicated email where your content, your offer is the only thing being featured in that email message.
I 100% second this message. And in addition, here are a few other best practices as you're thinking about emails and email swaps that you want to keep in mind. You do want to have partner with people who've got a similar vibe to you or that can match your email send. Do you know what I mean? Like if you've got 1,000 people on your list, it might be difficult partnering with someone who's got 3 people on their email list. But if they've got 1,000 or they've got even 10,000, like Susie said, they're a good one to partner with. Make sure that this one's so important, and I've been caught with this early on when I first started doing this. Make sure you've seen their landing page and the copy for the email first. Now, sometimes you'll be writing the copy, but they'll send you some sample copy to sort of use as the basis. But before you agree to this reciprocal send, because especially if they've already sent and then you've got to deliver and then you get the link to the landing page and you go, oh my God, I can't hand on heart promote this. You're in a really tough ethical situation. So make sure you've seen their landing page and copy first so you can really believe, yeah, I'm happy sending that to my people. Or sometimes I've had to have difficult conversations with people to say, I can't send that. Let's fix this up. Always check that your who and your what, that is, who's your ideal client and the thing you're selling really align. It needs to feel natural and relevant for your audience, a theme you're seeing coming up again and again. Also, you want to agree on the send timing. This is also important because
Yes.
I might really need you to send this before the end of the financial year. And if that's not clear and agreed upon beforehand, you can get really let down. You send it out when they needed it, but then they sort of kick the can down the road and it's 6 months later. And now they're sending it at a time that's not really useful to you. So really agree on the send timing both ways. You want to send when it works for them. Finally, remember the spam rules. If I was promoting something from Susie to my list, I'm not going to give her the email list, and
Right.
so she can send it to her list. What's going to happen is Susie's going to give me the link that she wants me to promote and some email copy, and then I'm going to write an endorsement of Susie and maybe modify the copy a little bit, and then I'm going to create the email in my system. And I am going to send that email to my list because I'm the one with permission to send that message. People have opted in to receive messages from me, not from Susie. And so I'm going to endorse her or speak about, I worked with her, she was amazing, and all of those things. And then I'm going to put the link in there, and then they will go to Susie's landing page. And then if they choose to opt in, now they've opted in and Susie can email them. But if they haven't, that's where the story kind of ends for Susie reaching my audience. I hope that makes sense. So you really want to make sure that you are being considerate of your list, that you're endorsing that person in a way that you feel comfortable with. It doesn't have to be a full on I stand 100% behind this, but, I had a massage from this person. It was really awesome. And I thought, wow, I'd love for her to be able to, share her great services with my community. And so I've asked her to get this special discount code for my members. And here you go. Here's the massage link.
This is probably the easiest strategic alliance model to test. And if you don't have an email list yet, then do a social media feature swap or something like that instead. We recommend you have and grow an email list. But just know if you've promised to send someone's offer to your list, you need to feel good about that. That's why Michelle said make sure you look at their landing page, their email, and that you have the time and space in your marketing calendar to do that. So like we said, it's always a good idea to agree on the timing right out the gate, like before you finalize the arrangement, because you want to make sure it fits in with your offers, that it's going to be advantageous to you, not at a time which, as Michelle said, may make no difference. You could also do an email send in exchange for something where, just say they have an email list, but you have a huge social media following. That could be a swap as well, right? Just a little different. So just finding like with like, something that matches kind of equally. Here are some examples to get your brain working. So a copywriter with a lead magnet could do a swap with a website designer offering a 5 website mistakes guide, or an infant sleep consultant might swap emails with a baby photographer offering a mini guide on, best lighting for newborns at home. Or a financial coach could swap with a legal consultant for business owners who specializes in business owners on how to protect your assets. Or 2 wellness coaches with similar sized lists can swap emails, one promoting a free meditation challenge, the other promoting a 7-day sugar reset guide. See, they're complementary. They're not going to be at odds with each other. So they're 2 wellness coaches, but they specialize in different things, or they're offering different things right now. And speaking of natural matches, in the Her Business Network, we saw several women in parenting and health spaces spark these email swap ideas. So Chantel Belt, beautiful Chantel, a longtime member, she's a naturopath and she's done a lot of her work with exhausted mums. She posted about collaborating with others who could offer hacks for energy and well-being. And she got responses from a Qigong teacher, a meditation coach, even a foodie offering Thermomix meals. And you can see how each of those collaborations could turn into email swaps where each business introduces the other person's free download, ebook, whatever the opt-in is, free webinar, or offer to their audiences in a really natural and really helpful, value-added kind of way.
Such great examples. And if you're listening and you're not already in the Her Business Network, you want to get in there because honestly, I love watching these collaborations. They're happening all the time.
All the time.
And really mini but mighty. So the final type of mini but mighty strategic alliance approach we're going to cover today is guest collaborations, but with a twist, guest collaborations that go deeper than a pitch. So this is where alliances become potentially co-created thought leadership, and I'll explain a bit more about what this means. So instead of just borrowing each other's platforms, like maybe we've just been sharing about, like, I'll send an email to my people, you'll send one to yours, maybe you could collaborate to produce something useful and shareable together. So this might be where you appear like on a podcast episode together. So Susie might interview somebody on her podcast and then they will have her on their podcast. Or you might create a podcast episode that you both share to your respective communities. But you go beyond that sort of surface level promotional chat. This isn't just I'll interview you, you interview me, although that can really be a great way to start a relationship and test the waters. In certain cases, it can make sense to think deeper and with more of a collaborative mindset on the content you're going to share and co-create. And it works best because it brings fresh energy to your audience and deepens your own expert positioning while also, of course, bringing you to a whole new audience. And this works best when both parties bring real value to the table. The topic ties into both your zones of genius. There's a creative hook. Like, it's not just another guest interview. While I love guest interviews, there might be some real reason that you two need to collaborate on this very specific thing. So think of it like, what's a conversation that we can have together that my audience can't get from me alone? And again, some examples, like a finance coach and a systems expert co-host a workshop on money plus time freedom. Now, that's a really great answer to what's a conversation we can have together that my audience can't get from me alone. I can help them on the money freedom part, but you're going to help them on the time freedom part. And actually, what if we combine forces and ran a workshop together where we promoted it together and then we shared the leads that came out of it, and we maybe even, you might decide there's actually a product you can sell off the back of it together. That's kind of another extension of that. Maybe two course creators co-write a Tools We Love guide that they email to both their lists, or a coach and a copywriter create a joint video series on enrolling clients through storytelling. Or a podcast host invites a strategic partner to co-host a 3-part mini-series on scaling a service-based business. So I'm going to do 3 episodes as a mini-series on this idea of scaling, and I'm bringing in the amazing, Kathy Smith, who is really a service-based business expert. We're going to go deep on this topic over the next 3 episodes, and they can both promote it to their audiences and bring in cross-listens and deeper engagement, and maybe even use that 3-part series for other things down the line to generate leads. And it can work for all types of formats. You really are, with all the things that we're talking about today, only limited by your imagination. You can co-create a free guide, host a shared training or a Q&A session, do a partner picks email roundup where you each feature tools or tips from the other person. So many possibilities.
And so much fun too, I think, to co-create. I love co-creating. And we've seen beautiful examples of this exact thing Michelle's talking about right inside of her business. And now the lovely Anne-Marie will share. Her expertise is in helping people, mostly women, find their authentic voice, and I mean actual voice. And she teamed up with another wonderful member, Laura Reel, who's an expert in eye health. She has a store in the QVB in Sydney. And they ran a joint Facebook Live on the challenges of Zoom fatigue, combining voice and vision tips in a really fresh and valuable way. So this wasn't just a guest spot, it was actually co-created thought leadership. And what's more, that post sparked a flurry of, when she posted it in the group, of other women reaching out to Anne-Marie to collaborate, just showing how magnetic these aligned partnerships can be if we just open our mind up to the possibilities.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And these types of strategic collaborations, and imagine that word underlined, collaborations, can build a ton of trust because your audience sees you associating with other trusted experts. Plus, they often spark even more ideas, like what you were saying, Susie, there about Anne-Marie. Maybe it flushes other people, oh, she's a collaborator, I might reach out to her. A guest blog might lead to a workshop as well with that same person. Like, we loved collaborating on this. Let's do this next thing together and this next thing together, and really magical things can open up. A shared video could turn into a bonus swap or an email swap or any of these other strategies that we've talked about. And all of it starts with, hey, how can we create something valuable together? What's a conversation we can have that my audience can't get from me alone?
Absolutely. And that's, in fact, Michelle, how we began working together. We collaborated
Yeah,
on one
right.
webinar, and then we thought, oh, this is great. Let's do a short online course together. And then that has led now, over a decade later, with the 12-month Marketing Success Mastermind, our 30-day Mastermind Experience program that we run once a year, the 2-day Advanced Offer Creation Intensive that
Yeah.
we ran earlier this year and we're running again. So you just never know with some of these early collaborations, starting small, starting mini but mighty can actually lead. But do start small and just see how things pan out. We don't encourage you to dive into a massive, lifelong commitment or collaboration right out the gate.
And I don't even know that that's possible. Like we couldn't have even imagined what we're doing
No,
together now. It
no.
really did begin with that first webinar. And I've just had a whole little stroll down memory lane as you told that story. Yeah, magical things can come from small but mighty collaborations. So let's just do a really quick recap of the 5 mini but mighty strategic alliance models we've covered today. The first one was local co-promotion. Think flyer swaps, in-store signage, shared workshops or shout outs in your local area. And this is great for visibility at the moment of purchase. Number 2, bonus swaps in courses or lead magnets. So you each contribute a valuable resource, like a checklist, a template, or a short training, to the other person's paid program or free opt-in, deepening value without interrupting each other's customer journey. 3, coupon in the box or physical inserts. And this is perfect for product-based businesses or if you are a service business that has some physical delivery aspect. You include each other's offers in the form of flyers and cards and things like that in shipments to surprise and delight at the point of delivery. Number 4, email swaps or reciprocal sends, as it is sometimes referred to. You send an email to your list featuring your partner's offer and they do the same. And this works best, like we said, when the message is dedicated, one email, not mixed in with a newsletter, when it's aligned. And of course, when you've agreed on the terms and seen each other's offers in advance. And number 5, our 5th mini but mighty strategic alliance model is guest collaborations that go deeper than a pitch. Don't just appear on each other's platforms. Co-create something meaningful like a free guide, a joint workshop, a podcast mini-series that combines your zones of genius.
Oh, I love them. I love them all. And as you're thinking about what's right for you, remember you don't have to do all of these. Just pick one that feels easiest to test first. But do ask yourself, who shares my ideal client but solves a different problem? Who do I already have a warm relationship with or easy access to? Like as we've seen inside the Her Business community, here's a group of people who know, like, and trust me, that I know, like, and trust. Let me start right there. What's simple that you could try with low effort but high potential? Like, ask yourself those 3 things. That's a really great place to start.
Yeah, and just running through all of that is that peaches and cream principle. The best partnerships are the one where you complement each other. Your values align and that collaboration makes sense to your customer. They're really the DNA of that peaches and cream principle. And we really hope the ideas we've shared have given you some inspiration to go out and try one of these small but mighty alliances in your business.
And we want to circle back at this point to that mindset piece that we started with at the top of this show, because, yeah, we've shared a bunch of practical, actionable alliance strategies that you can start using right away. But none of them matter if you are still holding yourself back from reaching out, or if you are like vehemently like, no one's going to access my audience and have that scarcity mentality. It's really hard to use the power of these strategic alliances. So consider this your gentle nudge. 1, you don't need to have a huge email list or a perfect pitch or a big brand to start creating powerful collaborations or to have all the details already mapped out. What you do need is the willingness to believe that what you offer has value and that there are other business owners out there who would love to partner with you. So the next step for you is be brave, make the ask, start small. You might be just one conversation away from something truly amazing that turns out to be one of the best decisions that you've made, that brings you in new leads and clients and creates a relationship with someone that you can co-create with. So I want to give you access to all the links and resources that Michelle and I mentioned in today's show. And I'm going to do that in just a few seconds. But first, I do want to give a shout out to one of our longtime listeners, Amanda Paul from Brand Injection. We love it when we get a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen, and we have over 100 5-star reviews. And Amanda, I want to tell you a little bit about her. She curates a flow of qualified leads for property developers to reduce overwhelm and to propel their sales cycle. And she does that. She's a marketer. She helps them create lead generating sales pages and optimizing them to maximize their effectiveness. And she said this. She had a headline on her review. She said, "Business made easy." Whether new to business or a seasoned professional, this podcast has it all. Susie and Michelle just make business make sense. Be prepared to have light bulb moments topped up with a few, now that makes sense. I highly recommend listening in if you want to cut out the fluff and noise and get straight in. Amanda, thank you. That's Amanda from Brand Injection. We'll put a link to her in our show notes as a big thank you. Now, here's the thing. Anything we've mentioned here on the show, whether that's a resource, whether it's a past episode, anything we've mentioned, we're going to put in a summary of today's episode, those 5 areas, over at herbusiness.com/mini but mighty, or one word, herbusiness.com/mini but mighty. Michelle, we're at that point in the episode where we give a sneak peek into what's coming up next. Take it away.
Yeah, we are going to be talking about how you can become the content CEO. And this is really how you can shift from doing it all, like down to the nitty gritty of that Canva document and the dot point and the color of the font. How do you shift from being in the weeds like that to being the content CEO? And how, what does that mean for your thinking? And that's where it begins, how you're thinking about how this stuff gets done. What does it mean for your systems? What tools might help you? What people might help you? All of those things we're going to explore in the next episode, how to become the content CEO.
I am very excited for that episode. We want to thank you so much for listening. Before we wrap up, there's 2 things I want to do. If you are new to the show, if you don't already subscribe, hit that follow button, that subscribe button, wherever you are listening so that the next episode drops right in there for you as soon as it's out. And the second thing I want to do is say, Michelle, is there anything you want to say before we go?
Look, lean in to a mini but mighty alliance. Honestly, I look back over my life and all the times that I have used strategic alliances to grow my business or to help other people grow their businesses. This just works when it's done well, when you can find peaches and cream. Go for it. It's just a rah-rah encouragement to end you off, to actually get in and do some of this.
So good. We want to thank you so much for listening. We love putting this show together for you. And we will see you next time right here on the Content Source Podcast. Bye for now.